Hey guys, so in this video we are going to start with midpoint circle generation algorithm. And now in the previous video we saw the algorithm. Now we are going to discuss this derivation. So for the derivation, let us first of all draw the diagram. That is, suppose we have this semicircle and over here we have 2 points. That is xk plus 1. Let me draw the circle again. Suppose this is a semicircle and we have 2 points, that is xk plus 1 and yk. And then we have parallel to it another point xk plus 1 comma yk minus 1, and over here we have the midpoint, say m, and this is the starting point, say xk comma yk. So now we are going to first of all write the general equation for a circle, which is given as x square plus y square is equal to r square. This is the equation of a circle which is at the center origin, that is, which is located at the origin. So now we are going to write it as x square plus y square minus r square is equal to 0, and we are going to consider it as a function, that is fx comma y will be given as x square plus y square minus r square. And for this we will have three cases, that is when fx comma y is equal to 0, this means that x comma y lies on the circle, that is this point lies on the circle. Suppose if we put points, say x dash and y dash in this formula, and if it comes out to be 0, then we can say that it lies on the circle. Now the second case is that it can be less than 0. Now if it is less than 0, then it means that x dash and y dash lies inside the circle. That is, the points x dash comma y dash will lie inside the circle, that is in this region. Now suppose if the value of fx comma y is greater than 0, then this will mean that the points x dash and y dash lie outside the circle, that is anywhere outside in this region. Now let us consider the 2 points that we have taken. That is, the first point, let us call it as A, and the second point, let us call it as B. Now in the second step, we will write the point A as xk plus 1 comma yk, and we have the B point as xk plus 1 comma yk minus 1. Now we will find the midpoint of these 2 points. That is, on finding the midpoint, you will get the value of x as xk plus 1 comma yk minus half. That is, we have simply found out the midpoint of these 2 points, which comes out to be this. And now we will write xk as xm, take xk plus 1 as xm, and yk minus half as ym, just considering them as xm and ym. Now we will consider the fx function as pk, that is the decision parameter. So we will write it as x square plus y square minus r square. As we already know what is the as we already know that this is the derivation, this is the equation for fx comma y. Now over here we will write the value of pk as xm square plus ym square minus r square. That is, we will put the values of xm and ym. On doing so, you will get xk plus 1 whole square, and here you will get yk minus half whole square minus r square. Now we have got the value of pk. This is the value of pk. Now similarly we will find out pk plus 1. We will do nothing, we will simply replace k by k plus 1 in the subscript. That is, we will be writing pk plus 1 as xk plus 1 minus 1, plus 1 whole square plus yk plus 1 minus half whole square minus r square. Now we will be subtracting pk plus 1 and pk. That is, we will subtract equation a small a by equation small b. On doing so, you will get the value as 2 into xk plus 1 plus yk plus 1 square minus yk square minus yk plus 1 square minus yk, sorry, square won't come over here, we will write yk plus 1 minus yk plus 1. So now these are the values that we will have when we will subtract pk plus 1 minus pk. Now we will take pk on the RHS and we can find pk plus 1 as pk plus 2 into xk plus 1 plus yk plus 1 whole square minus yk minus of yk plus 1 minus yk and plus 1 over here. Now I'm solving each and every step in order for you to understand it easily. That is why I'm writing it again, that we have simply taken pk on the RHS, and on doing so you will get this formula. So now we will consider two cases. That is, now we have found out pk plus 1. Now we will be considering two cases for pk. Now case 1, if pk or say pk is less than 0, then we will take the value of yk plus 1 as yk. This is an important point, that whenever pk is less than 0, then take value of yk plus 1, that is the next y coordinate, as same as yk. So on doing so you will get the value of pk plus 1 as pk plus 2xk plus 3, and the value of x will be xk plus 1 will be equal to xk plus 1, and value of yk plus 1 will be equal to yk. That is, let us see over here. So we will be considering this point. Whenever pk is less than 0, pk is less than 0, we will be taking the point A, that is outside the circle, which is xk plus 1 comma yk, and this is point B. So this is the first case that we have considered. So these three formulas you have to learn, that is whenever the value of pk is less than 0. Now in the second case we have done nothing in order to find this equation. We have just simply put the value of yk plus 1 in this equation, and on doing so you have got these three equations. These equations are from the points that we had plotted, and we have considered that xk plus 1 will be equal to yk, yk plus 1 will be equal to yk, and we have simply substituted yk plus 1 equal to yk in this equation. That is the equation of pk plus 1. Now similarly we will consider another case if the value of pk is greater than or equal to 0. Now here we will consider the value of yk plus 1 as yk minus 1, that is this, and we will substitute this value in this equation. That is similarly as we had done for the previous case. We will substitute the value of yk plus 1 now as yk minus 1 in this equation. Now on doing so you will get the value of pk plus 1 as pk plus 2xk minus 2yk plus 5, and the value of xk plus 1 will be given as xk plus 1, and yk plus 1 will now be given as yk minus 1. Now see that there is a difference between the two equations, that is this equation and this equation of pk plus 1 is different, whereas xk remains the same, xk plus 1 remains the same, and yk plus 1 and yk plus 1 has changed. That is, in the initial case the yk plus 1 remains yk, whereas in the second case the value of yk plus 1 now becomes yk minus 1. Now we will find out the initial decision parameter. That is, first we had found out the decision parameter, that is over here. This is the decision parameter which we had used over here. This is the decision parameter. Now we will be finding out the initial decision parameter. That is the initial decision parameter, which will be found out by using the same equation as we used for pk before. That is, pk will be xk plus 1 whole square plus yk minus half whole square minus r square. That is, we have simply used the equation that we had used earlier for the decision parameter. So now over here we will put the starting points. That is, we are starting from this point over here. So the coordinates of this point are 0, r. So we will write xk as 0 and yk as r, which is the radius of the circle. Now on doing so, that is, on putting xk as 0 and putting yk as r, we will get the value of pk, or let us say p naught. P naught as 5 by 4 minus r. That is, we have simply substituted these two values in this equation. And on doing so, you will get the value of P naught as 5 by 4 minus R. Now this is the value of the initial decision parameter. That is, this is your step 3. And if the value of R, as I told earlier in the previous video, if the value of R is an integer, then we will write the value of P naught or the initial decision parameter as 1 minus R in order to make our calculations easier. So this is the derivation of midpoint circle drawing algorithm. And guys, if you were able to understand it, just write wow in the comment section, and it would be great to know that you were able to understand the video. Now just let me give you a brief of that how we started with the derivation. First of all, we made this diagram. Then we plotted these 2 points A and B, which had the coordinates as xk plus 1 comma yk, and B had the coordinates as xk plus 1 comma yk minus 1. Then we wrote the equation of a circle, general equation of a circle, which is located at the center 0 comma 0. Then we took R on the LHS and we took this function fx comma y. And then we wrote the 3 cases that what the value of f will be wherever the point lies on the circle, it lies inside the circle, or whether it lies outside the circle. Then secondly, we found out the midpoints of these 2 points, that is the A and B that we had considered earlier, which came out to be this. And then we wrote the decision parameter, that is the decision parameter was used over here, in which we wrote the values of xm and ym. And on doing so, that is this point, and on doing so we got the equation as this. Now using this equation, we found out pk plus 1 by simply substituting k as k plus 1, and then we subtracted pk plus 1 minus pk, and on doing so you will get this equation. And then we will simply take pk plus 1 on the RHS, and we still have this equation, that is of pk plus 1. Now in this equation we will consider 2 cases. Suppose if the value of pk, that is this pk, is less than 0, then we will consider the value of yk plus 1 as yk. And on doing so, we will get these 3 equations by simply substituting the value of yk plus 1 as yk in this equation. And in the second case, we took the value of yk plus 1 as yk minus 1, and we will get the value of pk plus 1 by simply substituting yk plus 1 as minus yk minus 1 in this equation, as we did in the first case. Now we have found out these 3 formulas, and we have to simply learn it, that what is the formula for pk greater than 0 and what is the formula for pk less than 0 in order to solve questions. Then lastly, we found out the initial decision parameter, that is, we did nothing, we took pk and we wrote the value of pk as this, as we had taken for the decision parameter. Then we wrote the value of pk by simply substituting the value of xk as 0 and yk as r naught. That is, on doing that, we will get the value of p naught, that is the initial decision parameter, as 5 by 4 minus r. And always remember that whenever r is given as an integer in a question, then you will take the value of initial decision parameter as 1 minus r. So guys, this is it for this video, and if you were able to understand the concept discussed over here, please subscribe the channel, as this motivates me to create more such videos. So guys, this is it for this video. See you in the next one.